Parenting doesn't end when your children grow up. It just gets quieter and more honest. When they're adults, there's no authority to hide behind, no rules to enforce, just relationship. This episode is about the part of parenting no one prepares you for. Looking back, owning what you got wrong, and choosing to come back humbled. Not to rewrite the past, but to repair what still matters. This is about accountability with no shame, growth without defensiveness, and the work it takes to rebuild trust with your children. Good day, good day, good day, and welcome back to Ashes and Influence. You are joined by the hostesses with the mostesses. I am Rhythm and Blues. We got Coco Flame and Miss Symphony in our bottom screen. She likes looking up, guys. She don't have crazy eyes during the show. Oh my goodness, how's everybody doing?
Great.
Wonderful, amazing.
Yeah, so by the time this show releases, our prequel would have already been viewed by our audience. And I kind of just wanted to pick up where we left off in that conversation into kind of doing the real work, showing people what it looks like to be in disarray relationships with their children. Um, Maybe possibly trying to save a relationship with an adult child before it gets to a point of no return. We talked earlier about that Oprah podcast. There was a
Hmm.
married couple, both
Yes.
of them are out of relationship with their families.
Mhm.
He says it's because of the way that his parents treated his then girlfriend
Right.
before she became their wife. They like his parents were reaching out to his friends, like, do you think
Yes.
she's the right fit? And I'm telling you she's right for me.
Yes.
What are you questioning? Or what answers do you think you're gonna get from somebody who is not in this dynamic? And I can't remember exactly what her dynamic was and why she fell out of relationship, but it had been a long time. Like, these people do not know their grandchildren,
Mhm.
and
Wow.
unless something changes they may not get to know. Same episode, there was a hospice nurse that joined that panel, and she spoke from the place of where now these parents are, they've been given a terminal diagnosis and
Mhm.
they're on deathbeds, and they're asking her, can you please call my daughter? Can you please call my son?
Mm.
I'd like to have a conversation with them, before I close my eyes.
Mhm.
And she says she'll make the call, no problem. But she is only going to do what the person on the end of that phone is comfortable with.
Right.
And lots have chosen that even in their parents' final moments, that it
Mhm.
wasn't something that was worth salvaging from them. And they did not. So people,
Wow.
parents are dying. And I don't know if that's a child thing or a parent thing. Like, how do you, as a parent, how do you let it go that far?
Mhm.
Um,
But you can
I've got
just
my
do so much that that child will let you do, you know? Um, you can't make someone speak with you, you know? No matter how you reach out, how tender you are about reaching out, if that child does not want to talk to you, that child is not going to talk to you.
So I will say in my experience, sometimes when tenderness is on the table, genuineness is certainly not.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
once we go into adulthood, we can see or we can feel when someone is trying to manipulate us.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
So, and it may work, like tenderness may get you in the door, tenderness may get you the conversation that you've been asking for, but after a while, that parent falls right back into the pattern that
Mhm.
made it possible for them to fall out of relationship with their child.
Yes.
So we gotta acknowledge that as a real thing. Like, I'm going to sing sweet and whisper sweet nothings because I want her to pick up the telephone or I want him to take this call from me.
Yeah.
Um, but the real work is inside after we say hello again for a long time. The real work comes after that. And
Yeah.
these children, listen, they do it with everything though. It's not just parents and relationships. They not
Yeah.
how we were looking for career retirement jobs. Let that let that supervisor sneeze wrong. Oh no, 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 no.
Yeah,
He
they're
sneezed too
gone.
loud. I'm out of here. I'm out of
Yeah.
Right.
here.
My daughter has had more jobs than I've had in my entire life in 1 year. Because she ain't putting up with nothing. She ain't tolerating nothing. And I don't know if it's a strength or a weakness. Like,
Right.
are you not using a skill set that is required of you for relationship with that job or for you
Mhm.
to maintain on that job, or are you just like you don't have the capacity to negotiate or talk to the people about the situation? Instead, you don't like it. I
I'm
find
gone.
another.
Quit.
I'm gone.
Y'all ain't the only employees out here.
But here, because there's always a flip, right? Here's the flip. Of men, both men and women, who stayed in a position, who
Right.
stayed at a job for 20, 25 years and were miserable
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Mhm.
greater portion of that time. So maybe they are making the right decision and we just didn't have the kahunas to move the way they moved.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I
And
don't
you're
know.
Yeah.
probably right, because I know that I have stayed in positions because safety, or I was afraid of not being able to find something else when I needed to find something else, how I was
Mhm.
going to find something else. So stayed out of, necessity, out of fear. And they, baby, are fearless. I love that for
Yes.
them. I love the
Yes.
fearlessness of it all. And somehow that little cat always end up on her feet.
I know that's right. 9 lives, baby. You do it.
I
So
don't care how you grow up.
what do we feel about the staple in our community? Well, you only get one mom or dad, and Symphony, I'm coming straight to you because you're gonna finish this line for me when I get to it. But you only get one mom or dad. You only get That's your only mom. She's your only mom. What do you The Bible says, honor thy mother or
Honor
thy
thy mother.
father, for their days will be long. But what
Yeah.
else does it say? What it say after that? It
uh,
say something after that.
so that your days will be long upon the earth. Um, I'm not. Oh,
It say something to the parents, right? Doesn't it say to the parents about how they should be in relationship with their kids? Go
let me
ahead. I'm
come
gonna
back
give
to
you a
that,
minute.
baby.
I'm gonna give you a second. You do it because I need that other line because that other line is very, very important. Coco, while she is looking it up, what do you feel about that? Like, you only get one mother, you only got one. She's your only
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah. I definitely feel that. I feel that. And I would even say I wouldn't even go as far as to say I done been in this world without you. You ain't never been in this world without me.
Oh, see, oh, and I'm on the total other side of that. I don't give a fuck who it is. You don't get
Yeah.
to mistreat me. You don't get to cross my
No,
boundaries.
not
None
to
of that.
mistreat or cross boundaries, but respect. That's all I ask for
Oh,
is respect.
we gonna talk about respect because
Yeah, because you
to
got to
whom much
give it
is
to get it.
given, that's right. To whom much is
Yeah,
given,
you
much
got
has
to
to be
give it to
earned.
get it. And this
Absolutely.
generation ain't playing with their respect.
They
at
not gonna
all,
do it. They not gonna do it. Like,
at
I'm
all.
I'm telling you, I have a family member today that I am not in relationship with the way that I used to be, and when I tell you I used to be in relationship with them, like, could sit 6 hours on the phone with them, could
Mhm,
talk about any everything, give her the good, the bad, the uglies of my she broke my trust once, and we have not been able to recover from that. The way I look at it is for, let's say I was probably it's probably ooh, it's been a while. It's probably been 6 or 7 years since the infraction occurred. But up until that point, every bit of respect that you said was owed to you from me, I respect it.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Any boundaries
Yeah,
that you ever placed from the time I was born up until that tender age, 39, 40, I never crossed those boundaries. I asked you for one thing. And
right.
as soon as you could, y'all, when I say as soon as they were able to cross that boundary, they did. And now
Mhm.
you show me who you are, and I have
There you
to
go.
believe you. And for that reason, a relationship that was once like this is
Mhm.
miles, not just in physical distance, but miles and miles and miles apart. That's not to say that I haven't forgiven her, because I have. But sometimes
Right.
forgiveness doesn't come with reconnection. And it's
Mhm.
just as simple as
Access.
that. It
Right.
doesn't come with access. Absolutely not.
Right.
Symphony, what you got?
So the first scripture was from Exodus. And that's what I was thinking about when you asked the question. I'm like, there's nothing after that. But I remember that there was a second scripture, Ephesians 6, 1 through 4. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and your mother, for this is the first commandment with promise. It says that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land. But then it goes on to say, fathers, do not provoke your children
That,
to anger or to wrath, but bring them up in the discipline and instructions of the Lord.
that's it. Amen.
Amen.
May God add a blessing to the doers and hearers of his holy word. I ain't been out of church that long, y'all. I ain't been out of church that long.
Amen.
That part.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that is often skipped over.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
And you don't get to determine what
What
made
angers him.
them mad. What
Right.
angered your child?
Yep,
Or
yep.
what made them feel anything that you did that made them feel a certain way, that they saw it from their POV, the way they looked at it based on their experiences,
Hmm.
you know, you don't get to determine, how they respond to it, what made
That's
them
it.
Right.
angry. Because you
That's
got a
it.
lot of parents who say that shouldn't have made her mad. That shouldn't have made you feel that way.
Right.
I wouldn't have been mad about it. You should have seen what my parent did to me.
Yes.
It, it
And
was
I'm
abuse.
guilty of even saying that. I'm guilty of saying that about,
Yeah.
how I was raised versus how I raised them. Because there are a lot of things that I did not hold on to as a parent because of my childhood. And, and that brings me to a question like, what parenting belief did you hold on to and have since had to unlearn?
That one is easy for me, and we just talked about it, that respect factor.
Hmm.
Like, it's due to
Hmm.
a dog. And for us to think because we are the adults that we don't have to respect these people, we don't have to respect their feelings, that we don't have to respect their way of being, is flawed. And I didn't
Right.
get it right away, y'all. Like, I didn't get it right away,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but I got it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad that I did. Like, I had this deal. I don't have friends under 18. I wish I could take that
Right.
back.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody asks me, no, I don't have any friends under 18. I have
Mm-hmm.
persons that I'm responsible for. How they turn out, I have a duty to the general public not to release hell onto this world from my womb, from my house. But
Yeah.
friends, no, we can revisit that when they turn 18.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
respect. I wish I
Mhm.
would have looked at it differently when I was raising my children.
Yeah. I never was their friend. That old adage, I ain't one of your little friends. I wasn't one of their little friends. I wasn't one of their little friends. However, we had a good time. We played games. We had a good time. And they knew where that line was, that they
Mhm.
knew they couldn't cross. However, we still had fun as mother and daughters. We
Mhm.
still had
Hmm.
fun because I was a single mother most of their lives. So it was a little different for me. My parenting was a little different for me than it was for the two of you. So it was interesting. But the one belief that I had to unlearn is it's a two-part for that, because at the time as I was parenting my young children, I made it a point to not do a lot of things. Like, I didn't make them eat anything that they didn't want to eat, because I was forced to eat whatever my mother cooked. And I'm to this day, I'm a picky eater, very picky eater. My children, when I was able to afford, taking them out to eat, if one wanted McDonald's and the other one wanted Taco Bell, that's what they got. Not that they were spoiled, it's just that I'm not gonna waste. I looked at it as this. I'm not gonna waste my money because I didn't have the money to waste. So let me buy what they eat. So I know
Mhm.
it doesn't go to waste. Even in cooking at home, because I cooked every day. And then I taught them how to cook. And then they learned, to cook every day. I cooked what they liked to eat. To this day. If I don't eat it, I'm not cooking it. Oxtails, I'm not cooking them. I
Mhm.
don't eat those. So no. But
Mm.
yeah, that was the one thing that I had to unlearn.
I had to unlearn that yelling at somebody
Don't
is
get
not
it.
communicating.
Nope.
All that hollering and screaming that my dad did, that when my daughter was old enough, for me to be yelling and screaming at her, that just because you yelling and screaming, you doesn't mean you're being heard. You are
That's right.
not being heard.
That's
Doesn't
right.
mean that they're listening to you, like you said, going in one ear and out the other. And
Mhm.
I, because baby, I got that down to a science. I'll look you right in your face and not hear a word you're saying. And
Mhm.
already in my head, I'm already saying, I don't care nothing about none of that you're talking about.
Yep.
None of that mean nothing to me, and be nodding at the same time.
And
Because
that's my oldest. My
as this
oldest shuts
conversation
down.
at as soon as this is over, I can't wait to get out your face.
Ooh,
I
yeah,
can't wait
yeah,
to
Yeah.
get
because I'm
on you.
gone.
Yeah, because that don't mean none of that. None of I've already told you that, but I had to unlearn that. That I got more with honey than I did with vinegar. Just
Mm.
sitting and listening to them people, as young as they were, and validating their feelings.
Mhm.
Okay, I
Mhm.
understand. You know, they would tell me, they still uh laugh at me today about how I would discipline them. And although I said, like, after church we going to McDonald's, you might have got your behind whooped. We still going to McDonald's.
Because I said it. I
That's how,
said it.
right. Go get your put your shoes on. Let's go. You still sniffling and snotting, and but I still gotta feed you. She say we be crying all the way to McDonald's. But she tell me today she still does that with her son. She say, she'll discipline him, but that's to show you, it don't mean that I don't love you. Don't mean that I'm mad at you. I'm not even mad at you no more. You did something, I disciplined you, and now we move on.
We
Like you said,
done.
Right.
the slate is clean
Yeah,
immediately.
that clean slate.
Yeah,
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 let's go.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like, we still going to McDonald's?
Yeah.
We still going.
But
Mm.
I
Mm.
probably should, that was my second part, the yelling part, because my mama yelled at us all day, every day. If
Yes.
she was talking calm, we thought something was wrong with her. So to this day, my oldest, you got to lean in to hear what she's saying. She's so soft spoken.
Oh.
and cannot stand to be yelled at all. And she's been like that since a little girl. Like anybody outside the family yelling at her, I had to go to the school several times
It's a
because a teacher
no-go.
yelled at her.
Mhm.
And that baby shut the hell down. Just shut
Mm.
down. Wouldn't do a work, wouldn't sit down, wouldn't do nothing. That lady yelled at me, mama. And I'm thinking to myself, I yell at you all day, not thinking that's what the problem is. It's you, lady. The problem was me, you
Mhm.
know?
Mm.
And now this child is total opposite. She does not raise her voice about nothing at all. At all.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, like you, Symphony, I had to learn yelling ain't gonna get it done no quicker.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
It ain't gonna sound no different. The
It don't make
words
them
ain't
any
gonna mean
smarter.
anything
You yelling
different.
about that
Yeah.
homework. I don't care how you cuss and fuss about that math problem or that science
If
project.
Johnny
Still
had
gotta be
three
big.
apples,
I'ma say it
girl,
again with the belt
girl,
in my hand.
girl,
Now,
Yeah.
and
he had
now they
three.
fear and trembling. They can't even focus. Like, can you imagine? That's
Right.
something that I had to unlearn.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Yeah.
think about it. You standing over somebody yelling and screaming with a belt in your hand. How are they
Yeah.
focusing on this math problem anymore?
Yeah.
That ain't even the problem no more. Now the
No.
problem is
Yeah.
you standing here over me,
Belt in
threatening,
Screaming.
hand.
threatening to beat
Belt
me
in
if I get
hand.
it wrong. You know,
Oh,
Jesus, we had it all
Yeah,
wrong.
crazy.
We had it all wrong.
we did. We did.
Craziness. So
But
what parenting moment still sits with you today? Like what doesn't have to be grand, but what parenting moment? Maybe something that either flipped the switch for you or let you know that you were indeed doing it the right way. What parenting moment for you um, still sits with you to this day?
For me, I think it was when my daughter came to me and commended me on um, the way she was raised. When she was able to get out into the world and experience other people and their relationships with their parents, um, I I got random text messages from her. I love you. Thank you for being the type of mom that you were to me. I appreciate who you were to me and how you allowed me, certain liberties, certain experiences. And me thinking that I held her in that, vice that I was held in, but gave her enough rope to experience things for herself. So when she hears, mom, my friend was telling me that her mom used to call her all kind of, you know, adult.
B's and H's.
Yes, all of that. That they had been all of that, and she was like, "Thank you for never talking to me like that. Thank
Yeah.
you
I never
Mm.
talk to my girls like that.
for calling me out my name." And her daughters are still. I mean, these girls were still had physical signs of abuse, with
Sheesh.
Mm.
extension cords and all that kind of stuff, like wearing these. She's showing, this is when my mama hit me with a lamp, and this is when she beat me with an extension cord and stuff like that. So um that was that moment when she called me and told me, thank you, that let me know that okay, maybe I didn't do so bad,
Hmm.
and that was my
For
experience.
me, for me, when my son was a junior in high school, my older son, I had to make a decision for him um, based on an opportunity that he had an office he was holding that he was squandering with. Because that office came with opportunities outside of high school, because him holding that office was like key to recommendations. He was a college bound kid from the start of high school. And I saw how he was playing. He was excuse me, he held a office in the National Honor Society. So there were certain things that he had to be on time, present, and a leader for the other members.
Mhm.
And I was watching him kind of like just playing with the, like, not everybody gets into the National Honor Society. That's not
Mhm.
something that's given, it's something that you earn. So why would you earn it, get the office, and then play with your name? So in the spirit of not ruining his name at that level, I called the program director like, "Hey, he's a great kid. He'll probably make a better member than he would hold office.
Mhm.
He missing meetings. He not making them up when he should be." And in my head, all I can see is someone writing a recommendation. Yeah, he never on time. He didn't take his role seriously, and that
Yeah.
affecting his chances of, getting into a good school or getting a scholarship opportunity. For me, it was all of that. And it was the hardest telephone call that I made. But because I loved him, I made that call.
Mhm.
And I cried, and that educator thanked me for making the call and told me that she felt like I was doing the right thing. None of that shit meant nothing. It was the hardest call
Mhm.
that I had to
Mhm.
make. And it doesn't haunt me, but it absolutely stays with me. And I feel like if I had to make a decision like that again, I could. I wouldn't want to, though. And
Mhm.
that's probably
Mhm.
why it sits with me the way that it does.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was I almost broke my arm patting myself on the back because it was in my face. I was married. My ex now, now ex, he has 3 daughters. Well, they were not raised by me. So they came to spend the summer. And the summer was very interesting. The summer showed him. Now, mind you, prior to these girls coming down for the summer, him and I had gotten to an very graphic disagreement about my children and how I raised them. So I don't know if y'all don't know nothing else about Coco, know this. I don't play when it comes to my children at all. My girls are my everything. Okay. So in his eyes, oh, these girls need to be, children. They need to enjoy their childhood. And I'm just trying to figure out what part of their childhood did they miss because they know how to wash their clothes, clean the kitchen, clean up a house, cook, and all of that good stuff. So I'm trying to figure out where they missed in childhood, right? Well, his daughters came down and spent the summer. And those girls were, as my children said, Mama, they vegetables. I
Wow.
said, what you
Wow.
mean? She said, they're vegetables. They don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to wash dishes. They don't know how to do their laundry. They don't know how. I said, really? Huh? Amazing. So I come home from work one day and he got them girls, his girls, in the kitchen showing them how to wash dishes.
I ain't that bad, am I? I ain't that bad.
By the time them girls left, they knew how to separate their clothes. They knew how to wash their clothes on their own without
Mhm.
tearing up my washer and dryer. You know, they knew how to halfway clean the kitchen because one of them, I swear to God, that girl broke about 3 of my glasses.
Lord of mercy.
But that is when I knew that if something should happen to me, my girls are going to be able to take care of themselves no
Yeah.
matter what,
Yeah.
Great, great.
So,
The
but the
word
other moment
says,
was
oh, go
I did get a call from my daughter, my oldest daughter, and her commending me on raising her the way that I did. And, to tell me, man, we had a bomb ass childhood, mom. And it's funny because if you talk to that other daughter of mine, Oh, child, she had the worst childhood in the world. Worst childhood in the world, but that's her truth.
Mhm.
And I cannot take that from her.
Right.
So,
So that makes me think. It says, the Bible says, in all you're getting, in all you're getting, and all that you obtain knowledge. Learn
yes.
Mm,
something from it. Learn
mm.
Oh,
something from the
absolutely.
experience. So, what did you misunderstand about your child at first?
That she was a crybaby.
You
That
misunderstood
she
that?
was a crybaby.
Mhm.
I thought I could
Not
do them
knowing
both the
that,
same.
girl, girl. I couldn't figure it out. So I just started sending her. I got tired of whooping her because I done lost diamonds, out of rings, I done broke fingernails. I done hurt myself whooping, you know? So I'm
Uh-huh.
like, you know what? Go to your room. When you finish crying and you can be in here with everybody else, you can come back out. That is not what that child needed.
Mhm.
She needed me to sit down and talk to her
Mhm.
and hug her and
Mhm.
pat her on the back. And I just did not have that. I did not have that to give because, for one, I never needed that
Mhm.
because I was the one that was doing the protecting and doing the this, the that, I was in charge, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I didn't know that she needed that.
Yeah.
And that right there was, and I just recently figured that out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ayana. I just recently figured that out. And if I have the chance to ever talk with her, I would be a whole lot more understanding
Mhm.
and a whole lot more, um I guess understanding would be the gist of it. A whole lot more understanding, because for the life of me, for years, I could not understand what was going on with this child.
Yeah, like
Who
pose the
was
question, that's what
Yeah,
you misunderstood. You
Yeah,
misunderstood that
yeah.
about her.
yeah,
And now
yeah,
you deal with her according to knowledge, according to what you know about her and what
absolutely,
you've learned about
absolutely.
yourself, you know?
Yeah,
So my sons are 2 years and 9 months apart. So for 2 years and 9 months, I was parenting in a way that was just so easy peasy, no sweat. Um, and then my youngest son was born.
Mhm.
So something in me knew immediately, because of the way that I was raising my oldest, like there were going to be some stark differences from the door. Like my oldest son never slept in the crib,
Mhm.
but I was also feeling the effects of him never sleeping in the crib.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
mm,
when I became pregnant with my youngest son, we're going to set this up. It's going to be the most comfortable place. It's going to have music and hangies. He's going to love sleeping here. So one distinct difference. So now let's say they 3 and 5.
Mhm.
This little boy, he's very different. Like he's very rough, tumble, gruff. He will knock his own teeth out. And I
Mhm.
wasn't used to that because I had my oldest son who was like going outside at 3 in white
Mhm.
and coming back in the house clean.
Mhm. Mhm.
So this one, I couldn't even attempt. Like white, beige, orange. He had to wear black, gray,
Black.
and navy blue. Black, gray, and navy blue.
that was that youngest one, man. You buy her a pair of tennis shoes, look like she didn't had them for a whole 3 years. Ain't had them but
They
three
was on her
days.
feet for 3 days. For 3 days. That was my youngest. So, and even in that, it still took me a little bit of time to build up to, okay, these are 2 different individuals, 2 different
Mhm.
personalities. What I give to this one for this one will not do, and what I give to him won't be necessary
Yeah.
for this other one. So my biggest misunderstanding is that 2 children who lived in the same household, who were
Mm-hmm.
raised by the same parents, can
Mhm.
come on the outside of that and look similar. No,
Mhm.
they are night and day. They are night and
Yeah.
day. I'm glad it didn't take me too long to figure it out because
Uh-huh.
it could have been detrimental, but boy, was I shocked. Boy, was
I've
I
heard
shocked.
I've heard stories from siblings, from two siblings, one not understanding how you experienced that living in the same house. And I didn't experience that. That wasn't what I saw. I didn't see mom and dad like that. They didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. But you're not getting it from the other child's perspective. Two children, like you were saying, can be raised by the same parents in the same house and have two totally different
Yeah,
experiences, because you're
that's
not
exactly
going to
what it
be
was.
the parent you are to one child that you are to the other child, because
Yes.
those are two different people. And you may
Yes.
Yeah.
have been in a totally different headspace. Like when my daughter was born, I was 21 years old. So I raised her from I was 21, I was single. Me and her dad was separated. We weren't even together at the time. He was in Korea, I was in Miami, and we weren't even dating anymore. So and there was such conflict during that pregnancy. And
Mhm.
so she came into a world of insecurities on my part. um, I wasn't sure about anything. I was figuring it out on the fly, you know. I didn't have a career. I had a job. Um, I was still living at home with my mom. Because again, that helicopter mom, she didn't want me to go nowhere. I could still be at 54 living at home
Oh
if
my
it was
God.
up to my mom. But
Same.
um she came into that. And Darian, my son, had a totally different experience, a totally different homecoming. That pregnancy was so different. I was in the church, there was such a peace. In fact, she I got pregnant with her. I planned for him, you know.
Oh,
So it was totally different. I don't want to say she was a mistake, but it wasn't intentional. I wasn't out here trying to have a baby.
right.
But with him, I was trying. I was actively trying, and got to the point where I was like, okay, God, you know what? You've already blessed me with one child. I guess maybe this isn't meant to be, and you know what you want for my life. So if it's not the case, I've already had the experience. I've been a parent before, I'm fine. And boom, I get pregnant. So
They
Let
say
um
that's how
go.
it happens.
Let go.
and his birth, was just it was so peaceful, and there was music, and I wasn't afraid. I was terrified when I was giving birth to my daughter. And I know that that gets passed down, you
Yep.
know.
It will.
Um,
Energy.
yeah, everything is energy. So I know that. Thank you, Ayanla. I know that that gets passed down to her, and the peace that I had with my son got passed
Hmm.
down. His dad was in the room, and my daughter was in the room, and we were just awaiting him, and we couldn't wait to see him and to meet him. And he was just came into this world with this greeting, like, we've anticipated you, and you are loved. And child, we couldn't get enough of that baby. So he's still like that to this day. He still is kind of the center of all of us, like the nucleus or something. But
Well,
Mm.
honey,
I
my
know,
pregnancies were nothing like that, child.
yeah, that first
Uh,
one wasn't. It, that
well,
second one,
honey, I
you were still
wasn't planning on any children. I
living.
wasn't planning on any children. First time I had sex, I got pregnant with my first one. 16.
Wow.
Believe it or not, I had a wonderful pregnancy. My parents stood up and took accountability for my mistake and helped me through it. I was not stressed out. I wasn't none of that. I went to school every day and had a couple of scares because she wanted to come and see the fireworks because she was, born a couple of days before 4th of July.
Judy.
But that second one, I cried and I fought the entire pregnancy. Her birth was um she pretty much delivered herself because she was coming out before the doctor could even get in the room.
Oh,
Because I
wow.
went before and they sent me home. And we can't see you, Rhythm.
I'm
Um,
coming back.
oh, okay. We we went to the hospital and they sent me home. It's not, she's not ready, blah, blah, blah. And that was like a 20-minute drive back home. And Gerald went to Walmart, walked around Walmart when Walmart first started being super Walmart.
When it first started being super.
Yeah, when they first started being super. And my first moo I bought my first moo uh before Simone was born. And baby, I didn't know what color that child's eyes were until she was about 3 years old, because she cried. Her first 3 years of her life, that child cried, 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 cried. And then finally she started coming into herself. And every now and then it was a cry. But yeah, the energy that I had with her and the energy I had with Michelle were two totally different pregnancies.
So I
Mhm.
don't think I had a bad pregnancy either time. I do know with my first pregnancy, I was 20, getting ready to be 21. By the time I delivered him, I was 21. But I was nervous and I was anxious. And I think that was something that always lived in me from childhood, became intensified by now figuring out that I'm getting ready to be responsible for another person's life. And
Mhm.
I absolutely, through my womb, passed on that anxious spirit to him.
Mhm.
Like he
Yeah.
he wasn't gonna ever go too far. Like my youngest, we take him to the ocean. You gotta watch him.
Yeah.
You gotta watch him because he
Yeah.
running like he an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah.
But my oldest, he gonna stay just far enough on the sand for the water to graze his feet. He ain't going no further than if he go further than it's because you carried him on your hip and
Yeah.
made him get in some more.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
youngest one is just so fearless.
Yeah.
Um, my oldest is not timid, but is absolutely trepidous. He gotta see it all the way through in his mind
You're gonna be
before it
cautious.
becomes something that he
Yeah.
does. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's
crazy.
my oldest one too. She's cautious. I had an analogy for the both of them. That oldest one, she gonna call me on the phone and ask me, "Mama, how do I?" And this happened. How do I buy a banana? I said, "How you buy a banana?" I said, "You take it to the register and check out." What you mean? She said, "No. How green and how yellow do it?" And I'm like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me. You got to
It's a
be kidding me.
banana.
It's a banana, right?"
Mhm.
That youngest one, this is her. "Mom, I bought the entire banana tree and now they're all dead. So what do I do now? What is it that I do now? What am I supposed to do with all these dead
Oh
bananas?"
my god!
That was my life, to the
As far
point
east
where
and west.
I had them in my phone. The oldest one was, "What the hell?" She's still in there now, because when she called, I'm like, "Wait, what the hell?"
Mhm.
And the other one was, "What now?
Oh
What have
shit!
you done now?
Mhm.
What now?"
Oh, shit!
But yeah.
What the hell
So
and
if
what?
you've experienced it, when did you first notice that there was distance between you and your adult child?
Ooh. The youngest one, as soon as she went to college. When she went to college, she chunked the deuce, and all we seen was ass and elbows. That's it.
I think for me, my oldest went to college, and then I started to see, not notice it. I just started to see the relationship that I was in with my youngest. And I didn't like the way it looked, but because I hadn't noticed it, I don't know how long it went on.
Mhm.
But I went immediately into we got to figure this out mode.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't think it was until well past he's 22 today, well past 18. Like I
Yeah.
would say the last 18 months have been our most solid
Mhm.
in a very long time. I'm grateful for it. It absolutely took work. Um, and he's 22. Like, young men just are. They sometimes are not as interested in how they be. So I encourage both of them, go see how you be.
Mm.
Once you figure that out, whatever conversations that you need to have with me, it'll make it that much easier for you to have those conversations with me. Um, but yeah, it was probably before then, but I didn't get to see it until my oldest son left for college.
Mhm.
I don't think with my daughter, there's never been any distance that I didn't create, that I didn't try to set a boundary with her and say,
Okay.
go, go, just go, because she was attached to my hip, you know. She was that hip baby. She wasn't going nowhere. Kind of like your son, she wasn't gonna make a move. Like, is it okay for me to, you know? Um, and like you, we looking for Darian, and Darian is 2 years old and out there in the pool, fully
Girl,
dressed, shoes, sneakers, everything.
the
Got me in a
hell?
straight panic. But he had been in swimming lessons since he was 6 months old. So he got it, you know. But um I realized the distance because again, that girl is still right here. Um, she gonna call her mama. She gonna
Mhm.
talk to her mama. She gonna come
That's the
by here.
oldest one.
Yeah, she gonna come by here. And if the trash can is out on the curb, I'ma hear it rumbling on the side of my house where she done brought it in. What was most difficult for me is when my son, who, like I said, this was my, you know, um, and he was very attached at home. But he joined the military, joined the Air Force, and he went to basic training. And I could not wait. I sat by the phone anticipating every phone call. Uh, like, you know, I in my mind, I knew what this experience was gonna be like. I I wrote him every day, at least
Mhm.
at least 5 to 6 times a week. I sent him a card or a letter or whatever, and he'll tell me that he still has them, how much that meant to him, how and mama keep doing it. You know how many I got from him? Not one. Not
Oh man.
not one. He was gonna call whenever he got a chance to call. He was gonna call me, and then uh, he went to school for 9 months, and then he got stationed around the corner from my house. And I
I know that
may
life.
see and hear from him. This was when I noticed the distance. Like, how could you be so close and feel so far away from me? You
Mm,
know,
Yep.
like uh, but understanding he's becoming his own person.
yeah.
He's
Yep.
not your baby anymore. Because even when he was in basic training, so how they treating you down there? So
Cause
what
what
that
you was
girl
going
doing?
cause what you was gonna do.
Because I
Right.
be down there
Right.
at that fence, hollering at that man through the gate. And my baby had to tell me, Mom, no, I don't need you to do that. Like, no, I don't need you to do this. I don't need your protection. I don't need your da 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 da. And that was hard for me because that was the distance. Like, I protected you. I kept
Mhm.
you safe. This is how you knew I loved you. I've always been there for you. And now,
Mm,
like, is it changing between us? Do you not love me as much as you used to? Because now I might hear from you twice a month,
Mm.
or you might show up at the house randomly, hey mom. And I'm like, where'd you come from? So we definitely are not as close as we used to be. And when I say that, I guess I have to, it's even difficult to say that because when we're here, when we're together, when he does call or he does show up, he shows up and he's present and he wants to talk to you and he want to sit with you and he want to watch a TV show with you, or he is there. But when he is gone,
he
He
gone.
gone.
he gone. And he is
Yeah.
Mm,
living best life being his own person, and that was hard for me. That
Yeah.
transition was hard for me. That distance was hard for me. I thought he getting stationed here. I'm gonna see him every day. No, ma'am.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So, ego and authority, right?
Mhm.
How did releasing because I'm the parent shift your relationship with your kids?
It's not because I said so anymore.
Yeah.
You don't now there's
Okay.
a mutual respect, you know. As a
Mhm.
child, I didn't feel like I didn't respect you. Like, what is that? Like, is that even a thing? You know, you respect your
Mhm.
parents, and that's it. Because I said so, you do like I tell you, you know, blah, 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 blah. And that was the end of that. This is how you, because you are learning now, you know.
Mhm.
You just
Mhm.
listen to what I say. I'm telling you what to do and how to do it. And I need you to be learning.
Yeah.
Um, as an adult, that's not the way we operate anymore. You don't do
No.
it because I say so. You know, you might even ask my opinion and you may not. And whatever that is, you could do what you want to do with it when you're finished. When
I
I'm
was just
Yeah.
finished,
about to say, and just because you gave it, don't mean they gonna do
no, it's
anything with it.
optional. It is
Yeah.
definitely optional. Okay.
But there used to be a saying, "Do as I say and not as I do."
Mhm.
Um, and it took me a long time to realize that they will not, in fact, do as you say. They will only do what they see you do.
Hmm.
So they actually, my boys had a front row seat to my creating boundaries, to my disconnecting from relationships. Um, so it was basically taught like, oh, okay, she cutting off X, Y, and Z. She is not accepting that behavior from Uncle Joe or Aunt Bobby Sue. And
Hmm.
they making their decisions inside of what they saw me do.
Hmm.
So, even when I had that little bit of distance between my youngest son and I, it wasn't anything that I could be mad at. I showed you exactly how to do that. And if I wasn't
Hmm.
playing by the rules and by the boundaries that you set for yourself, you have every right.
Right.
Um, but also in preparing them for 18, like I told them, like, it's gonna look very different. All this helicopter, no. Right now, I spent 19 years giving y'all everything that I had.
Hmm.
Because on the other side of it, I might be pulling out. Like, I'll be there when there is a need, but it will not look anything like it looked from 0 to 18. It just
Hmm.
can't.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Right.
Two
Right.
reasons why: y'all are of age, and secondly, y'all men, y'all got to put them critical thinking skills that we gave y'all
Yes.
to work. You
Yes.
make the decisions, you gotta accept your consequences for however you make decisions, and I can't be involved in it.
Yes, yes.
I
I'd be
can't be
doing you a
involved.
disservice if I was.
Yeah, I can't be
Mhm.
involved in that. So, inside of that question, and I guess once we all answer, let's circle back to it. How often are you giving unsolicited advice? Like, maybe kids come to you with a problem, or maybe, you see them in a situation in the space
I
that they're in as adults. Are we barking about that? Are we trying to get them to see it from our point of view? Or are we letting them live and make the decisions that are gonna be best for them?
Yeah. Well, for me, I just um I'm real careful how I step because I'm new to this parenting adult thing. I found that there's a lot of rules that come with that come with parenting adults. You
Mhm,
got to find your lane.
mhm,
I didn't notice I didn't say stay in your lane because your lane shifts when they become adults.
mhm,
Yeah.
Okay. Your lane shifts once they become adults. Um, and that unsolicited advice can ruin you. So be very careful how you tread. in those waters
Mhm.
because it can be the detriment of your relationship.
Right.
And I'm not saying kiss your kids behind. I'm not saying walk on eggshells around your children. I'm saying be mindful of how you speak to them
Mhm.
and what you say to them because you can tell somebody they ain't nothing but a piece of dirt in the sweetest, most, it could be dripping with honey
Mhm.
and
Mm,
they wouldn't even know that that's what happened, you know. But you just gotta tread lightly. Um, and that old adage, treat people like you want to be treated, that goes for your children too.
Mhm.
You
absolutely.
you you got to
Absolutely.
treat them like you want them to treat you.
Mhm.
Because respect is not something that you automatically get because you're their parent, especially if that child sees that childhood as traumatic or
Mhm.
they see that you were not the parent that you should have been. You're you may have some wounds you didn't even know you had that they finna pull that band-aid off of,
Mhm.
Mm,
you know. So my advice to any new parent, tread lightly when it comes to that unsolicited advice. Drip it with honey as much as you can, especially if it's something that is, detrimental to their well-being.
so two things, right? If no right or wrong way to parent, you do what
Mm-mm.
you can with what you know, right?
Mhm.
If I spent the bulk of your childhood giving you every key, giving you every gem, showing you every, guiding you every, it's not much left for me to do. Like I did it that way purposefully
Mhm.
because there's
Mhm.
not much left for me to do on the other
Right.
side. Like if you come to me and you
Yeah.
have a situation you want to run across me, fine. But
Yes.
I promise you, I can watch you. My art is not my lane. I just minds my business.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like I can watch a situation happen to you, or maybe a situation happen to somebody close to you. You got some decisions to make. You got some decisions to make. If
Mhm.
you seen it and it shook out like that for them, and you're doing the same thing, that means you got some decisions to make. I
Mhm.
ain't into influencing how they make
Mhm.
decisions.
Mhm.
It really is not my business. You bring it to me, that's something totally different.
Right.
We can have
Right.
whatever kind of conversation you want to have surrounding what you bring to me. But for me
Yes.
to just see you living your life and have an opinion on how you living your life, it don't cost me anything anymore.
Mhm.
It's not my business.
Right.
It's not my business.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I don't wanna I'm not giving any unsolicited advice. If you come
Yeah.
and ask me something, and I'm gonna ask you then, uh how do you want me to deal with
Mhm.
it?
Right.
You
What do
want
you
my
need from
honest
me?
opinion? Yeah, yeah. What do you need from me in this moment? And I'm gonna let you tell me what that is that you need
Yeah.
from me. Because I don't even ask the same questions when they come to me, you know. Somebody can ask me, like, if I talk to Rhythm or if I talk to Coco, and you might ask me like, well, did she, girl, I don't know.
How am I
And I
supposed
didn't
to know?
ask, well, how
How
she
am I
gonna,
supposed to know?
honey, I don't know. I didn't ask because I know I had nothing to contribute. I wasn't finna pay it. I wasn't finna go get it. I wasn't finna do it. I'm not I'm not obligating myself to it. So I didn't even ask how they were gonna, blah blah blah
Mm-mm.
blah blah. They were gonna have to
Mm-mm.
figure that out on their own, and realize that they can.
They absolutely
Absolutely.
They
can.
can. I did so much because I was afraid, that they wouldn't be able to do it. So let me do it for you, or let me show you how, or let me do this, or let me give you this, or let me. And I was just running myself ragged, the things that I used to live by, say that, oh, if my kids do this, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna give them this, and I'm gonna give them that, and I'm gonna always, blah, 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 blah. That thing started to cost me my peace. And
And that's not how that works.
no, and it wasn't helping them. And then now
Mm-mm.
them needing me feels like a burden, you know?
Mm.
Now you wanting me to do it, or you calling my phone, and now it's burdening me. But I
Mm,
created these monsters. You know, I made them so codependent upon me
Mhm.
that now, I'm tired of it. I wanted to just stop. So
Yeah.
we had to have that conversation, you
And
know?
that's why I'm not so worried about that youngest one of mine. She as much as she probably is irritated by the fact that every time I look in this mirror, I see that woman. However, you got a lot of me, my strength, my gumption, you got a whole lot of me in you. So I'm not too worried about her being able to survive. Um,
They're resilient.
absolutely.
They are resilient.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's
Absolutely.
so
So
freeing. It's so freeing not worrying about
it
them
is.
grown
I ain't
people
It
gonna do
problems.
is,
it.
girl.
I'm not
Welcome
gonna
to
do
my
it.
world, girl.
Them grown people problems.
I'm not
Yes.
gonna
And
do
they
it.
Yes.
grown.
Yes.
I'm not gonna
So
do it.
so what do you think? Do you think um uh listening has become harder than talking?
Not anymore. In the
I keep
beginning, it
saying
was.
unsolicited advice, it's
In the
become
beginning, it
just
was.
listen.
You know.
In the
Yeah.
beginning, it was. But now, girl, these ears so big, even though I got my hair cut off, these ears so big, all I know how to do is listen. And then
Mhm.
to the point where, Mama, you there? Yeah, I'm here. Did you need me to say something?
And does it depend on what they're saying?
Yes.
What you're hearing? Is
Yeah.
it easy to hear? Is it easy still to not talk, making excuses, telling them why, explaining, over
Hmm.
explaining, blah, 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 but just sitting and listening to what
Yes.
it is they have to say, what
Yeah.
it is
It's
they
so
have to
easy.
do. When did
So
listening
easy.
become harder than talking, or has it ever?
So I think for my sons, I chose two totally different times after they turned 18. Because you always got that one conversation left for them. And I had one
Uh-huh.
conversation, but I let the circumstances dictate when I needed to have those
Yes,
conversations. Okay.
yes.
And sometimes that's what
So,
you gotta wait for.
yeah, absolutely. Oldest had a situation. He had just left for college. He is a military kid. So there was
Mhm,
a benefit to him going to college and the form of a monthly stipend. So this was October, y'all. It was October 8th. And our bank accounts are connected, right? And I'm getting
mhm,
all sorts of notifications from USAA. I'm thinking this boy card has been lost and compromised. And so I'm calling him. He's not answering. I'm calling the bank. Just hold on. Give me a couple minutes to get in contact with him. It's October 8th. He had just
mhm,
got his stipend on October 1st.
mhm.
And so now I finally get in contact with him. And he say, I'm like, "Hey, is everything all right? I'm getting these notifications from your card." He say, "Mom, you're not gonna believe it." No, I would believe it. I don't care. But he was getting ready to go into this big elaborate story about how he had the night of his life. And
Oh,
all of these charges were indeed
oh,
valid charges.
uh-huh.
I was just calling to let you know that it is October 8th
Mhm.
and you won't have another financial deposit until October 31st. And you got $80
Mhm.
because he had a good night, y'all. What Clear Huxtable say to Vanessa, you went down to see the wretched, they had big fun. This fool
Big
had big
fun
fun,
with the
big fun.
ratchet.
Right.
With the rich. Big
With the
fun. But
ratchet.
you have I'm not concerned at all about what you were doing. Like you
Right.
made that decision. I just need you to know on the other side of that decision, there is this consequence where from
Yes.
now until October 31st, you have $80.
Mhm.
And if you good with it, so am I. I just wanted to make sure
Mhm.
your card wasn't compromised. I need to call the bank back. And I got off that telephone. So
Right.
I those first couple conversations after they turned 18, they were coming to me, so I let them come to me, and I
Mhm.
had whatever conversation I needed to have, but it wasn't no admonishment in them. It wasn't no judgment in them. This is you making the best decisions for you, and I really hope that they are the best decisions for you. I'm gonna get
Mhm.
out your business though, cause ain't my business.
Mhm.
Ain't my
Yep,
business.
absolutely.
Good parenting
Mm-mm.
style.
Absolutely. Parenting in survival mode. What did survival parenting look like for you? And how did it impact your child emotionally?
Mhm. I know that it did. Um, so I'm a motherless daughter, right? And I grew up with that every day up until the day that I became pregnant. And then once I decided that I was going to continue with the pregnancy, there were two things that could have happened. Like, I could have been the person who gave birth to me, or I could have been something different.
Mhm.
Choosing something different, I had to function in that. Like, I woke up every morning and set the intention of being a parent today. Just that simple. It wasn't long.
Mhm.
It wasn't filled with prayer. Like, you have to go out here and be a parent today.
Mhm.
Wednesday morning,
Mhm.
you got to go be a parent today.
Mhm.
And I did that every day for 21 years, but in survival mode, because
Mhm.
the fear that if I didn't wake up and if I didn't say those words and if I wasn't intentional about what I was bringing to this day to them as a parent, that I've somehow failed.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So in my fear of failure and my efforts to survive as a parent, I'm certain that it impacted them. I'm certain that it
Yeah.
did. You
So
know.
parenting and survival for me was being a single parent. I was a single parent all of their life. So it affected both of them differently. The oldest one, she watched me from 17 to today. And she has a totally different outlook on me as a person, as a woman, as her mother. Um, she's very protective of me on a dangerous level. She she is her emotional meter when it comes to me is a negative zero if something or someone has done something to me. She is losing it. Okay. Now, as far as that youngest one, she blames me for her childhood. Um, and that's all I know right now because we're not in relation right now. So but I would love to speak with her um to let her know that I do understand now what I didn't understand then.
Mhm.
But surviving her childhood is something that she has to be proud of herself for,
Mhm.
because that's her truth. And right now, I have to be able to acknowledge the fact that that is her truth, whether I like it, agree with it, or not. And I think that's how it emotionally impacted her. Um, her seeing me in survival and her feeling like she had to emulate that. So that's pretty much all I can say on that part of it. So I don't know.
I don't know if my baby realizes that how the way she was raised still impacts her life today. Like I can see her in my mind's eye hanging on by a thread at any given moment. Um, because she is always in a state of anxiousness. She is
Mm,
always in a state of like anxiety, like she's stressed out, she's worried. she don't know how this is going to happen or how that is going to happen or blah, 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 and this, that, and the third. I didn't think I showed that. I didn't think that that was something that was an outward thing for me, but it was definitely an internal drive of mine that everything, every move I made, every decision I made was accompanied by or supported by the fear of failure. That I
Mhm.
was gonna, that if I like, I was afraid of failing. So
Yep.
there were things that I did not do because I was afraid of failing. I did not try. I didn't like, just put myself out there to see what would happen. Um, and I parented like that out of fear. So I was very protective, very overbearing. Sometimes I'm sure. Um, and I see that 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 in her, that me parenting in survival mode um had her, that was my fault, that she felt like everything was so stressful, like she couldn't handle anything on her own, because the way I protected her was doing it for her, helping her
Mhm.
out. Yeah, let me give this to you, let me buy you this, let me, you need what? Okay, oh, that's too hard, well, let me take care of it. And
Mhm.
I realize now, as an adult, parenting an adult, you know, um, it was hard for me to just take that away, you
Yeah.
know, when she called saying, I can't do it. I'm not doing it again. Then wondering, like, is that fair? Is that fair for you to have been there all the time? Well, you've been being there for, you've been doing it for, you know, um, and now you just want to stop. Is
Yeah.
that right? Is that fair? So, and the same thing with my son, he took his own independence though. He was gone. You not finna do this for me. You not finna parent me like I'm a child when I'm an adult. But it was beneficial for my daughter to continue to get parented like she was a child, you know,
Mm.
and kept
Mm.
doing and providing and making provision and da 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 da. And I was the one who had to say, okay, I got to parent you like an adult, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm. You don't live in my house. I have no business taking care of your household,
Mm.
but I'm still maintaining that because I felt like I started it. How can you just. But that was a more self-awareness that I'm still developing and walking through and into. But yeah, that was the thing that I had to realize, what you're talking about, parenting from that place of survival, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and what affected both of them children emotionally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think when we get into talking about how we heal these relationships, or what it looks like to heal these relationships, the type of trust that's needed, the type of consistency that's needed in these spaces, do you think do you think the cart can come before the horse? Like, I I say that we heal, and we also heal 7 generations behind us,
Mhm,
right? I
mhm,
think the expectation of a child having to reach back to a parent is, to a degree, unfair.
mhm,
Whatever their reasons are, we cause the damage.
mhm,
How do we even start to repair if we haven't looked into repairing how we see, how we believe, how we feel, unlearning the things that were embedded in us from our own childhoods? Is it fair for us to ask for these relationships to come back to us full circle when we haven't done, if we haven't done the work that's necessary to go into that space more open, more willing, um, with more understanding than we had when we were learning?
Mhm.
that these adult children had these issues with us. Is it fair? Like, or is it possible
No,
that
I
you
don't
can
think
go
so.
into that space unhealed?
Absolutely not.
No. Two
Yeah.
reasons. One, you don't know what you're fixing. You don't know what you're fixing. Two, you haven't even acknowledged the fact that there's something broke. So what you fixing? So you
Right.
got a double negative. So is nothing is impossible to fix. Just like if the shoe were on the other foot, that parent has seen their wrong or their misstep in their parenting skills when that adult was then a child and now coming to talk to that child, and that child hasn't dealt with what they felt that was that traumatic experience or that neglectful experience that they haven't healed that yet. So that parent coming and talking to the child is like bumping your head, because
So
that unhealed child is not going to be open to what you have to say because they haven't dealt with it on their own yet.
I'm gonna challenge you a little bit on that, Misha, and I'm Coco, and I'll tell you why.
Hmm.
So a couple reasons. Like, I think personally that once they feel that their feelings have been acknowledged, validated, and can see that the parent knows that there is a need for repair, that
Hmm.
frees something in that child for them
Okay.
to be able to go and, like, I want this relationship. I can see now that it's different than what it's been.
Hmm.
And if I want this relationship now, I have to go do X, Y, and Z. Um, I had a conversation a couple weeks back with who the hell was I chatting with? Don't matter. We were talking out loud about the relationships between boys and their mothers, and I was acknowledging in that conversation that, and probably was the first time that I had said it out loud of my body, but acknowledging in that conversation that the pressures to perform that I put on my oldest son
Mm.
were never his, right? I was young once upon a time, and I was a high performer. And because I was a high performer, the adults in my life, they rewarded my performances, right? And then I got to high school and I stopped performing at the same level that I was prior to.
Mhm.
And because I stopped performing, they stopped encouraging or pouring into that educational spirit of mine. So now
Mhm.
Mhm.
on my side of parenting, I go in with, if you bring me home a 91, well, why couldn't it be a 98?
Mm.
Right? And
Mhm.
saying it out loud those few weeks back, I'm like, holy shit.
Right.
I gave him something that was never his because of
Mhm.
my experiences and that I lived through, and seeing how people showed up for me when I was doing top notch. He probably felt like he had to earn something from me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so after that conversation, like, I had to sit down, and he in Poland, so I can't just pick up a phone and call him. But I had to sit down and write him a letter.
Mhm.
Mm.
And my intention with that letter is that I know that it's something that he is carrying.
Mhm.
But I also know that I've been begging him, please go to therapy. Find
Mhm.
you a therapist. And I was hoping in writing that letter that that would be the key. Me acknowledging it, me making him aware that I absolutely know that I did this to you
Mhm.
would free something in him
Mhm.
that he would now be able to do some more investigating into himself. That
Mhm.
was the
Yeah.
hope. Now, I don't know if it worked or not. Um,
Yeah, that's the
but
part I
sometimes
was
they don't
saying.
know what they
They have
need.
to take it. They have to want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
And that given us being more self-aware, parents, not us three, but parents doing the work, acknowledging that
So
they're,
important.
yeah. So if we're doing the work on ourselves, and we're being honest with ourselves, because
Yes.
that's most important with self-awareness, is that you're honest with what you find. When you go digging, you be honest about the problems, the issues, the failures, the successes, where it came from, who did it, why you were the way you were. If you're honest with yourself, then that'll open up the door and opportunities for people who you impacted, to come in, and you can hear it. It's easier to hear,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you've already acknowledged it in yourself, for
Mhm.
yourself, than you not acknowledging, and your children come back and saying, well, you were a horrible mom, and you made me feel insecure, and you hurt my feelings when you said this. And I'm holding on to the point that my dad was in the store one day with me and a couple of my brothers. I'm the only girl. And we were at a shoe store years and years ago. This is how anybody listening from South Florida will know this shoe store. And the shoe store was called Favor. And
Love
I'm in
Favor.
the store, Favor, in the store with my dad and my brothers. And my dad is taking us school shopping. And my dad says, the guy says, man, all these children yours? Because it was a heap of us. And he said, yeah. And he said, man, all these boys and one girl. And for years and years and years, I carried that as an insult. I
Oh,
carried it as an insult that he said, yeah. When the guy said all these boys and one girl, he said, yeah, she should have been a boy.
oh,
In my childlike um
understanding.
mind, that into my adulthood, thinking that my dad did not want a girl, that he couldn't possibly love me as much as he loved the boys. um and me being able to come back to that moment, and I actually didn't get to have that conversation with my dad. I actually had it with my brother. But in my self-awareness, because I was already fighting for his attention, um, that that's not what he meant by what he said. And I had gotten it all wrong. In that self-awareness, it was like, what if you received that wrong? That your dad wasn't saying she should have been a boy. I wanted her to be a boy. He said, but I was so much like him, that, like, she should have been a boy. She more like me than these boys are. Like, I'm so proud of her. I'm so crazy about her. I love her because it was what he said, not what he did. I took what
Mhm.
he said and I hung on to that, not the actions that showed me something totally different,
Yes.
Because my
That was
brothers are,
perfect.
yeah, my brothers will tell you now, oh, daddy was crazy about you. Oh, he favored you. Oh, you was his little girl. Oh, he used to say, oh, Talea's daddy's little darling angel. And baby loved daddy, and daddy loved the hell out of baby. So this was what he was showing me. But over here, I was holding on to, anytime he wasn't showing me this, it was because he wished I was a boy, you know?
Mm.
And there was a lot of resentment on my part because of that, because he said that. But I never took that to him. I never asked the questions. And that was partly because he never made me feel safe enough to ask questions. You know, I felt like if I ask, he ain't gonna like it. I'm gonna get cussed out, or I'm gonna get a whooping. You know, so I never questioned my dad. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, to what you
Yeah,
were.
you wrapped that up beautifully. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And so, and I think the final question before we go into Ask Your Pass is, what does showing up differently actually look like today? And actions, not words. Like, what does it look like? Like for someone who's out there who has a strained relationship with a child with this, when we're talking about adult children, so I'll keep it there. But
Mhm.
with an adult child, what does showing up differently look like?
It's okay to reach out to them. It's okay. If they reject you, then it's okay. You get tomorrow or the next day, you know.
Yeah.
Show them that you are acknowledging their feelings, you know. Be an active listener, because sometimes they just want you to listen. You don't need to say anything. Sometimes they
Yeah.
just, they just need to unload and get it off of their chest, off their back,
Mhm.
and show them that you are listening. Because, regardless of what we may believe, but we really didn't listen to our children when they were little bitty people, um, on certain things. If they're hurt, your ears wide open about that. But mama, I don't want that. Mama, I need this. Mama, really didn't listen to all of that. But now we have to listen to their wants, their needs, their got to haves, um, all of that. You just got to be an active listener and be open to whatever they lay in your lap, because baby, you're not going to be prepared. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be prepared, because I know when I have this conversation, I don't know what I'm gonna need after this conversation. I don't know what I'm gonna need.
I think it's important that if your adult child has named behaviors of yours that have harmed them, like if they can put a name on it and you can acknowledge that you've been that, or that you've seen that in yourself, or that it's even remotely possible that you have been that way towards them, changing the behavior. Like,
Yeah.
is no such thing as an apology without the changed behavior.
Right.
Otherwise,
Right.
it's an apology with triggers, and those triggers will send those children right back into, what sent them into being estranged from you in the first place. So,
Hmm.
or even if they haven't named behaviors, be self-aware enough to know, like, I have these attributes
Mhm.
and how
Hmm.
they could have affected my children while I was parenting.
Hmm.
'Cause they may not know what to call it. They may not know what it was about you. They may not know nor be concerned about the trauma that you had.
Ah, honey, because I didn't want to hear it. You hit the nail right on the head. When I felt abused, the last thing I wanted to hear my dad tell me, well, uh, my daddy did more than that. I
Right.
remember one time when
Right.
he whooped me and I'm sitting there crying about my welts on my leg, and he's like, "Ah, that ain't nothing. My daddy, da 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 da." That don't matter.
I'm
What your
Yeah.
talking about what
parents
happened to
Yeah.
me.
And this is not the opportunity for you to tell me about how bad your childhood was when I'm telling you how bad mine is. Like this situation that I'm having with you. I don't want to hear about that. There may be a time for you to share that. If you don't get to share it with your parent, you get to share it with me. But when I'm
Right.
telling you about mine, this is not the time. And that's any
Hmm.
relationship. If you
Hmm.
got an
Yep. Yep.
issue with anything that anybody else is doing, when they come to you with their issue about you, that's not your time. You didn't
Right.
explain it when I did it to you. You didn't say anything about it. But
You
when
gonna
you're
hold on to it now.
no, hang on to it just the way you were hanging on to it. When you do this or you do that, no, it's not that. But to your question, um, for me, the way I show up, it's so liberating now.
Mhm.
It's so freeing now because I'm not trying to mother you like a child. You know, I don't have to, if you ask me for my advice, I'll give it to you. If you want me to just listen, I'm going to just listen. I'm not trying to fix it for you.
Mm,
I'm not stressing out about it. I'm not, none of that. It's like I'm talking to one of my girlfriends. It's like I'm talking to
that's
Rhythm,
it.
or like I'm talking to Coco. I love you, you know, right where we are
Mhm.
right now, you know. I love you from this space that we're in. I want you to know, because I am self-aware, that this is safe for you to talk to me. It's safe for you to say what I did or did not do and explain it to me. Like you said, if you can name it, that's great. If you can't, and I'll just give you the space to let me hear it. And maybe we
Yeah,
both can come up with a name for it. You know,
absolutely.
tell me what it is you're experiencing. And like you said, if I see you doing something and I feel like, oh, that's me right there. You know, I see, I know exactly why she's resolving this issue like
Yeah.
this from this
Yeah.
space. You know, I did that.
Mhm.
So let me see if she'll allow me to maybe suggest. You could take it if you want, and if you don't, you could put it in file 13. But if you let me show you where I messed up in doing things that way, you know,
Mhm.
and in hopes and in prayers that you would do it differently, you know, with your
Yeah.
children, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
maybe you can correct the behavior going forward for our future children. Let let's let's kill whatever did not work in the past. Let's go ahead and get rid of that now. You know,
Yep.
let's not take that into the future with our future children. You know, that generational curse. Let's go ahead
It's
and
real. It's real.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It is real.
Yeah.
You ladies, we thank you for that stimulating conversation. Always
Yes,
appreciate it.
yes. I pray that somebody got something they
Yeah.
needed from something we said. And if you didn't get what you needed, leave your questions down in the comment section, and we can definitely have that discussion. Like, let's carry on this conversation, because I know we
Yeah.
didn't hit all the points in this, you know, in what we asked today. We had a lot of things we didn't get to touch on, but let's continue this conversation as women, as
Right.
men. You know, let's continue to heal and heal the generations coming after us, you know.
Right. Right. Right.
Absolutely. Are you the smartest dummy or the most dinge genius in your friend group? Yeah, us too. That's why you'll fit right in with the Enlightened Idiot podcast, live every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. We're talking bold takes on sex, mental health, current events, and all the stuff you forget you care about until somebody says it out loud. So slide through, kick back, and get your dose of real talk and reckless wisdom. Stay enlightened.
The Leaf Affair Cigar. Get it at the Leaf Affair Cigar Shop in Killeen and Salado, Texas, or online at leafaffair.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. It's our Asher Pass. Hey. All right. Ash, if you agree. Pass if you disagree. Got it? Those are the
Okay.
rules. All right. I did the best I could. Asher pass.
Pass.
I thought I was going to have a different answer. I am going to ash it.
Okay.
No explanation. I'm going to ash it.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
going to ask that as well. All right. Adult children should move on. I'm going to pass that.
Pass. Yeah,
Pass.
definitely pass.
Parents deserve grace too.
Ash.
Ash that. Ash
Yeah.
that.
Pass that. Even our parents, guys. Even our
Mm,
parents.
Yeah.
Explaining isn't the same as apologizing. Ash.
Ash
Ash.
that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Ash that.
Ash. Respect should be mutual regardless of age.
Ooh, it's a hard one, but I'm going to ash
It
it.
is.
I'm going
Yeah.
to ash it.
Yeah.
Ash that too. Parents don't need to revisit the past.
Pass on that.
Yeah. Pass it.
Pass. Distance is sometimes a form of protection.
Ash.
Ash,
That's it.
Ash. Repair matters more than being right.
Ash.
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 You want to be right or you want to be happy? You don't get to be both.
You don't get to be both. Children owe their parents forgiveness. I'm going to smoke that one.
I'm gonna pass it. I
I'm
don't
going to
pass.
smoke on that.
I'm gonna pass it.
I'm
Because if
going.
we both have recognized the infraction and I have acknowledged my infraction, I ask you for forgiveness for that infraction.
You can
As
ask.
long as it's understood that forgiveness doesn't always mean reconnection, I'll ask that.
Mm,
I'll ask
Okay.
you.
All right. You can love your child and still hurt them.
Absolute
Ash.
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 Absolute ash. And I'm speaking to the women my age or better. I'm not going to speak to y'all at all. You do it your way. Do it your way. Don't see your grandkids. Don't be able to call your kids on a holiday. Be the patient's child of the woman who worked in hospice care. And on your deathbed, you can't communicate with. Be that person. You can do it. Go ahead. I believe in you.
Yes, indeed. All right. The next one, change later in life, it still counts.
Ash.
I would say ash that. Yes.
Ash. All right. Last but not least, healing the relationship requires internal work first.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Ash.
Absolute
Ash.
ash.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
ladies and gentlemen, that was the end of our Asher Pass. Y'all did a good job.
Yay. I can appreciate the honesty. And now we've come to
Mhm.
that part in the show that we like to call the final draw. Parenting doesn't come with closure, it comes with choice. The choice to say this, the choice to stay defensive or the choice to stay connected. You
Mm,
choose. Coming back doesn't erase what happened, but it says, I'm willing to grow. To the
Mhm.
parents listening, your willingness to reflect matters. It does. To the adult children listening, your feelings are valid. Just want you to
They
know
are.
that. Repair is not a moment. It's a practice. It's a continuous work, continually monitoring the relationship and seeing where we need to make things better or make things different or do things differently. And sometimes the most powerful thing a parent can say is, I see you now.
mm.
See you. I hear you. I understand. It's valid and it's okay. And I still love you. After seeing you, I love you. This is Ashes and Influence. We'll catch you after the smoke clears.
See y'all.
Bye.